And I really want to make a video about that because I feel that whether it is that you want to accomplish something, whether you want to start a new career, whether you want to accomplish maybe saving some amount of money, buying something for yourself, investing, building some type of wealth, it's all going to be on you really believing in that concept. In the day, it's not even the fact that you're going to go ahead and do it, it's believing that you're going to go and do it. Hey, and we're back, everybody. And as follow here my weekly vlogs, and I really want to focus this month for some reason. It's a lot of things going on, and we're all just trying to stay, as they say, as best as possible afloat, and we really can't do much. Can't go anywhere, at least New York City here. So I want to share my thoughts here on any young individuals, especially for me. My focus group is individuals that come from inner cities and minority cities where we don't have much resources. We're not really given a lot of access to a lot of books and articles and stuff like that that would kind of open our minds up and give us a little bit more of I would say, knowledge for us to make better choices and increase whatever it is that you want to increase. So although I'm really big on money this couple of weeks that I've been doing my videos, the number one thing that we can't forget is that one of the, obviously, that I talked in my last video, the way you believe and the way you see yourself and how you believe that you will accomplish what you want to accomplish is probably the number one factor, besides what investments you do, how you do it, how many times you invest, all of that stuff. The number one thing is if you believe yourself and if you believe that you can accomplish this, right? At the end of the day, it's all on you and your belief on these concepts that you're learning. Everything is always imagined. I heard today on I was listening to a YouTube, if you ever get a chance, Bob Proctor, and sometimes I love listening to his videos, kind of the same, right? But it was saying a kind of a true statement where he was saying that you only get as far as you believe you can get as far as, far in life. And whatever that may be, whether it's career, whether it's finances, whether it's, relationships, whether it's building something for yourself, it all comes down to how confident you are within yourself that you can accomplish what it is you want to accomplish. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get that reinforcement from outside of yourself, whether it be friends, family, or strangers. It's going to be on you. And you have to be willing to do whatever it is, put in the work every single day, and keep yourself focused on what it is that you want to accomplish. And not really worry about how it's going to happen. He goes, not really worry about how it's going to happen, just make sure you follow your process. And I really want to make a video about that because I feel that whether it is that you want to accomplish something, whether you want to start a new career, whether you want to accomplish maybe saving some amount of money, buying something for yourself, investing, building some type of wealth, it's all going to be on you really believing in that concept. In the day, it's not even the fact that you're going to go ahead and do it, it's believing that you're going to go and do it. If you really discourage yourself saying that you don't have enough money, that you don't have the right resources, that it's impossible for you to do, you're not going to do it. And in anything in life, that's kind of the number one thing that I've seen the recurrence in my life. Like whatever I've done and I didn't do was because either I believe I can do it or I believe I couldn't do it. Some of the jobs that I had and I did them, I didn't feel that I never felt that I couldn't do them. And I learned a lot of skills in different trades, different jobs that I've done. And they all seem scary at first, right? And that's the same thing with anything you want to try, whether it's like learning some new skills, whether it's maybe starting your own YouTube channel, whatever it may be. It's it's really challenging yourself to understand that whatever you feel that you can't do on the grand scheme of things, you can probably do it. It just takes action from your end, and it's very liberating. Once you face your fears, it's something that you do for yourself. When I built this channel here, the expectations are not just to, uh, you know, get 1 million subscribers. My expectation is just to kind of go against my fear and get better on making video quality and understanding that it's more of a process. It's not just the end game of making the quality and getting the subscribers. It's more about adding value to the subscribers and adding value to myself. Because at the end of the day, I said it before, but if I can't bring value, I understand that. So I can't expect. But at the end of the day, if I bring value to myself, there I am having like kind of they call it reciprocity, if I'm saying it right. Where at the expense of you giving something, you're getting something in return that you might not be seeing. It might not be a physical exchange, but you're getting so much more. And you can kind of compare that to if you ever buy something and you're not using it anymore, and you give it away. Although you probably bought and paid a bunch of money for it, whatever it is, you felt like it was an expensive buy, but you just want to give it to somebody so they can use it because you're not using it. It could be clothes, it could be gadgets, it could be cameras, whatever it may be. Like for me, I have things that I buy, gadgets and stuff like that. You might not be using it anymore. It's just sitting there collecting dust. You might just give it to somebody that might use it. The feeling of just giving it to somebody and having them be able to benefit off of that and use it for their use, their purpose. It's a feeling that it's something that we can't really put a price on it. And when it comes to creating content or making something for yourself, that's the feeling you're talking about. So when it comes to creating wealth and building for yourself, and you want to be setting yourself up for that process, it's more about how can you give to yourself. When you sit down and you make a budget and you learn on what matters to you as far as values, you're giving back to yourself. And that's what I feel like true wealth is. It's not really about how much you can accumulate and how much abundance you have, and just buy a whole ton of stuff that you're gonna show that you've made it, you succeeded. At the end of the day, I feel like wealth is really an accumulation of being able to show yourself a reward, persistence, and kind of the work that you took and the steps that you took in order to get there. It's a reward for your due diligence, as they call it. It's not for you to buy more rewards so you can show others what you've done. It's more of a self, I think, directed reminder that the process is the reward. The accumulation and all that stuff is not really the reward. I think it's the process. Have you ever sat down with any individuals that have accumulated some type of, maybe they saved and invested and they finally were able to maybe even leave their careers or start something new, or just travel or do things that they've never done before because they didn't have that financial capacity. The first thing they say is it's more of a liberation of understanding that they did it themselves, right? They did that themselves. They were able to plan for it, and they followed through. So when it comes to anything, whether it's here, whether it's somewhere else, if you don't have that belief and discipline in yourself, it doesn't matter. The income. It doesn't matter how many opportunities you come across. It doesn't matter any of those things, because believe me, so you're gonna run across a lot of opportunities. And that's just life. Life is gonna be open to you as long as you're open to it. I always believe in that. But also don't get it. I've watched a video today also on Minority Mindset. If you guys get a chance, go to that channel. Minority Mindset with Jaspreet Singh. His channel is funny, and it's also financial savvy, but it's also very funny. He looks like a great individual you can hang out with. But he says, you want to have the multiple stream income lifestyle that we're promoted on all of these financial web pages, and And that's what everybody talks about. Every millionaire has multiple streams of income. So you, in reality, you think that you have to start all these different uh, projects, and you have to uh, keep yourself, I would say, open to any project. So in case you hit it big in any of these situations, right? And he gives a great example. He says, you can't, you're cutting yourself too thin or lean, in a sense, because you have to be at all those places at once mentally. And mentally, as we know, our minds are one of the most powerful things, but our minds really focus on one thing and magnify that, right? And if we take away from that power and we make it the focus on so many things at once, you're not really going to be efficient, I believe, in all of them. Doesn't mean that it cannot happen. There's a lot of individuals that can do a lot of things at once. But if you ever noticed, they might do a project at a time. They might not do 5, 6 projects at one time. Perfect example for me, I had the idea and I had the capacity, and I felt that, I've already had my own channel, this channel here. I want to start something on the side that kind of talks about my hobbies and what I do for my spare time. And I started another channel. I forgot the name of the channel, so I can't even tell you guys here because I forgot the name of it. So I was really excited. I did it. It's more about my hobby of baseball, which I love, and I play at an amateur level. We have fun here in New York City, so it's nothing like we're getting paid, but it's amateurish. But we have fun doing it. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna record videos on how I prepare myself. Some reviews of some of the bats and some of the things that we use, and make it cool, make it a fun thing. And I realized that although it seemed very simple, it was another time consuming project. So it took away from my channel here, which is what I really wanted to, what I still love, and I still love to jump on here, and it's easy for me, and it's not, I don't even think about it. Now the other channel that I had, I was thinking about what I was going to talk about, how I was going to do it, and and how was I going to make it consistent. And eventually I started it. I put one video, and I couldn't keep up with it because it was that channel and this channel, and I was like, wow, multiple channels. Maybe it's not the easiest to do in the beginning when you're starting off. So if I had to give advice when it comes to even, I know it's not relatable to my advice, but if I had to give advice and you trying to start a YouTube channel, focus on one channel first, and grow that and have it, start feeding you, and then you can work on your second one, because it's just the fact to have one channel. It's, if you're doing this and if you ever know how much it takes, how much work it goes into it, how many hours of production and setting up and finding out what you're going to talk about, and then the post-production, all these things that go into it. If you do that for two, now you add that for 2 channels, you're doubling your work. So the concept of the whole message was that he was bringing up is like, you want to have the multiple streams of income, and that's great. But at the end of the day, if you're going to start building wealth, you want to focus on one thing, and kind of go double, triple, quadruple hard on that, and get it to start working somehow, some way. Do what you got to do to build that, and then obviously we're going to start investing. We're going to start learning about our own investments, what's the best possible route. And just like anything, I know I'm going to get a lot of questions like, oh, what should I invest in? What should I look for, personal stocks or companies? I guess I'm not a financial advisor, so I cannot give you financial advice. But as long as you, like anything in life, you have to get started. And obviously the most basic things that we have out there, you have mutual funds, you have ETFs, index funds, you have all these different funds that you can put your money into. So as long as you start with something, you're better off than having nothing, right? Sometimes too much thinking and too much contemplation, which I'm a victim of that. Also, I think things too much. it's not really productive. It's more about action. As long as you get started. Of course, we're not talking about to put your money and start investing into like high volatile um, penny stocks, or obviously Bitcoin, Dogecoin, all these things that you see now in the news. These things are very highly volatile. Do your research on that. You have to make sure you know what you're talking about, what you're doing. When you're studying the charts, you have to kind of be knowing into that industry. But if you don't, there's still basic investments that people have been doing for many years and years and years and years. And start with the basics. And then if you're really interested and you really want to learn about this, pick up a book um, about anything as far as investing. I do a lot of personal finance books. Again, like I said, Rich Dad Poor Dad was a great book. One of the eye openers for me. You have other individuals. You have Dave Ramsey. He's a little bit of a different concept, but he's a very personal finance kind of in your face method. You have Susie Orman. She's another kind of like a crazy concept of budgeting and everything else like that. But it's just the principles. Like you don't have to adapt every single step. You don't have to do everything that they tell you, but it's just to learn the principles and kind of just ingrain them in you on uh what it's gonna kind of what it's gonna take, and how you can start taking bits and pieces of everything. It's like basically when you build something for yourself, maybe a house, or you like, let's say you're into vehicles, you go on websites and you look at these different models and different things that they have and features, and you eventually make your own selection and you pick bits and pieces of what you like from all those different pictures and stuff like that. So that's kind of when it comes to, I think, personal finance and investing. Do what works for you. And kind of that's what I really wanted to do in this channel was tell and the young individuals right now watching that my advice, whatever, or my tips here and there, insights, and all the advice that you're going to see on different channels and on different platforms is not one size fits all, and that goes for anybody. So that's where I kind of take apart from it, and I kind of understood that you're gonna feel less shame and less guilt when you do things your way. Again, as long as you're meeting your goals and what your values are, what it is that you're trying to accomplish, then that works for you. But also just keep your mind open to listen concepts and different ideas and different approach to certain things. From sometimes you might be struggling where you're like, okay, I can't seem to find extra money at the end of the month. Pick up a book and find out how you can start maybe spending less. Maybe you can pick up a side gig or something and start earning more, or just start spending less. The easiest way to get a raise, they say, is to spend less on certain things or buy less things. Whether that may be you have some type of thing you do on the weekends, or your grocery shopping, or maybe you have a monthly car payment and you're trying to save, but that's a large chunk of your income. So you might want to get a used vehicle. It sounds absurd. I know a lot of individuals don't care about using vehicles. I have met a lot, but sometimes it might not be the extra job or more money. It might just be your directing your income different places. And when it comes to personal finances, what works for you, whatever makes, like for you, if you need to have a new vehicle, then that's fine. So then you have to find somewhere else where you can kind of cut back on, whether it may be clothing, food, outings, like maybe dining out, all those things you might do. You might not care for that, so you don't do that. So you have your nice brand new car. It's about kind of trading it off. It doesn't mean you can't have a brand new car, but you can't like expect to tell somebody, well, I don't find money, and you're making, let's say, you're making 6 figures, and you're like, oh well, I don't know why I can't save and have all these high expenses of a new car and all these. People say, well, maybe you might want to cut back on some of those expenses. And the new car, you might not want to negotiate with the new car. That's not on the table. That's fine. But then find other ways you can bring that money in. So I don't think there's one size fits all. I used to believe that way. Like, oh well, you can't have no car payments. That's not gonna help you. But maybe people that have car payments, sometimes might not spend on clothing, or on, they don't really eat out that much, or they don't, um, I don't know, they don't have any habits, like they don't spend money on like creative stuff. Maybe they don't even care for like for me, my thing is like creative stuff. Like I have I bought this camera. I bought certain things for the office here. Computers. Those are my things. But sometimes people that have those cars don't care for those things. So that's the biggest expense, and they're able to save. So I don't think there's like one picture like, oh well, if you have a luxury vehicle that means you're broke. I don't think that. I used to think that, but I just feel like if you are already tight as it is and you go into putting that money into that, then you're kind of taking away from yourself. You're taking away the rewards from yourself, because you're putting into something that's not really going to give you any type of reward. Although I love vehicles. I love fresh new car. I'm not gonna say I don't. It's a different situation, but if you can kind of temporarily delay the gratification, is another concept. Delay your gratification towards a couple of years out, and just drive something that's a little bit more affordable. Then in the long run, you'll thank yourself. And I think that's the way it is. Like, you're never gonna be content. So let me just bring this up real quick before I let this video go. I've noticed that by myself. You're gonna every single let's say every single year, every 2 or 3 years, you're gonna reach those goals. That if you have the belief and you have the concept, you're gonna reach the goals. But you're always gonna have the mentality of it's never enough, and that's one of the ways I try to get away from that, because you're gonna say, oh well, I want to save $20,000, let's say, or I want to save $10,000. You find you reach that mark. Now you say I want to save 20. Okay, you reach that mark, and you want to save 30. So you're never gonna be able to celebrate the wins. You're never gonna feel happy about it. You're gonna always feel that you can have more. So I think we want to also take in consideration not to fall into that hole of always having what's next, and kind of like never being content. So although I know all my young individuals watching this, I know you might feel like, well, life has no sense. I'm like not where I want to be. Where you are right now is probably the best time of your life, the best moment. You're not going to go back to that moment right now. That now is the only time we can kind of savor and enjoy. There's not going to be any better time than now. And I've noticed that, during quarantine, let's say right now, we can't really go anywhere, we can't do much, but we're at home watching, hanging out with our families, and watching probably a bunch of movies, and just watching a bunch of social media. And we're just basically lounging for now until we're able to go back out there. So this is probably the best times of your life right now, because once you go back to the routine, you're not going to be able to spend time with your family, spend time with your loved ones, and you're not going to be able to be thinking about creatively what do you really want to do. Right now, think about it, is the best time you can think about what you want to do, whether it's investing, whether it's starting your own side hustle, whether it's creating something for yourself, whether it be an artwork, whether it be I know a lot of individuals now trying to set up their own businesses. Whatever it is, the time is now. And once you do those things, it's not going to make your life any better if you don't appreciate what you have now. So contentment first, and then we start with the investments. And believing that that's coming to you. The belief. I know it sounds out there, and everybody's like, oh well, that's not the way life is. Great, but I would say my life changed when I started believing and seeing it when it wasn't even there. So you have to you have to believe it before you see it. And there's a book about that I've read that changed my way of thinking, and I'm gonna probably hit that book tomorrow, by Dr. Wayne Dyer. Let me get it for you guys because I just thought about it. So here you go. This is the book. Small book right here. And it's called You'll See It When You Believe It. So anything we're going to do in life, whether it's investing, saving, changing our lives, and trying to, for ourselves, for me, I feel like, the goal where your finances is to build personal wealth for yourself and for your families. You have to see it. You have to believe it. You have to believe it, and then you'll see it. So unless you have the belief in yourself that you can accomplish anything, and it's not just for saving and investing and creating a great personal finance picture for yourself. It's believing that you're gonna accomplish whatever it is that you put yourself out there for, and taking it one step at a time. Sometimes the best steps are the smallest steps. You know, sometimes we get up and we're gonna take a leap and we wanna go and jump right into the project, and sometimes it takes time. And one thing I've learned, where it's, whether it was the channel, whether it's my personal finances, whether it's learning and really absorbing as much as I can, is that everything takes time. And if you don't want to believe that, and you don't want to kind of take your time, and the time can be, again, there's no time limit and there's no time construct. It could be time, I would say 6 months to a year. It could be 1 year, 2 years. It could be 3 years. It could be 5 years. And I want to say one more thing before I let you guys go. I know I said it before, but there was a quote that I heard by Jay Shetty. And he goes, a lot of us underestimate what we can do in 10 years, and we overestimate what we can do in 1 year. So oftentimes, all this generation where we want to have quick gratification and instant, everything, fast food, everything's fast. Oftentimes, the best things take time. So if right now you feel that you're in a hole and you can't get out, and how, I just want to do it now, I can't wait, just think, hold yourself back. Remember, everything takes time. Don't hurry, don't rush it. Put in the process, put in the work, enjoy the process, and start creating something for yourself. And I believe that, trust me, your ideas and insights will come with that, and your wealth will come with that as well. It's all connected, it's all related. Creativity and wealth is all there. There's no there's not just wealth and no creativity. You have to learn how to create things so you can eventually have to build the wealth. So let's start with that, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.